I know that I've gotten a little behind on getting this part of the Hurricane Express contract review recorded and edited and online for you guys, but I've had a lot going on, and I will work to do better going forward, be a little bit more consistent with things. There's about 3.5 to 4 pages to this part of the contract. Then you get into the schedules and different things like that. But I want to review these last few items before we start another video to get into their schedules and everything. Under this contract, you can haul freight for others, but now keep in mind, this is a 30-day contract. Alright, this contract that you sign for most carriers is going to be called the carrier agreement, but for Hurricane Express, they're calling it their lease operator contract. And it says, nothing in this contract prevents lease operator from doing business with other entities engaged in the business of providing delivery services. Before agreeing to transport a particular load of cargo or other freight for another entity, renter, meaning you, one minute they call you the lease operator, next minute they call you the renter, renter shall arrange for all necessary insurance coverage for the truck and all settlement deductions due the owner. Furthermore, before agreeing to haul a particular load of cargo, the lease operator has the right to refuse or decline to transport particular loads as requested by the contractor, meaning Hurricane Express. However, the lease operator must provide notice of the decision to decline hauling such a load immediately after receiving a request to haul such a load from contractor. So when Hurricane Express sends you a load and say, hey, we need you to haul this load, if you're going to decline it, you need to do so immediately when they send that to you. Don't say, well, I'll take care of it at the next stop, or I'll take care of it, after lunch or whatever. As soon as you get it, go ahead and respond to them and let them know. Number 7, when hauling loads of cargo or other freight pursuant to this contract, lease operator may choose lease operator's own routes, subject to safety recommendations from the contractors. They're telling you on one hand that you can choose your own route that you want to travel, but then it's subject to the quote-unquote recommendations from their safety department, meaning they're going to tell you the route that they want you to take. They're telling you that without directly telling you that. Okay? Number 8, the term of this relationship shall be 30 days. This contract shall automatically renew each 30-day period unless either party notifies the other in writing no less than 1 day before the end of the prior term. Not so basically give you a 24-hour notice if they want to terminate. If you want to terminate, you got to give them 24-hour notice no later than the day before the 30th day, so the day before it expires. Notwithstanding anything herein to the contrary, this contract may be terminated by either party at any time in any manner without cause. However, the lease operator, meaning you, is required to complete any haul that lease operator has agreed to complete before terminating this contract. In the event this contract is breached or terminated by either party, lease operator shall return to their Oklahoma, Concord, Oklahoma location all personal property, including cargo, equipment, and trailers received from contract. So they're saying on the one hand that if you have a load on and they terminate the contract, or you terminate the contract, you have to finish that load. But on the other hand, they're also saying that if you have a load on, you return the truck, the trailer, the load, everything back to their office. Well, if they're going to terminate your contract, why in the hell would you finish the load out? You know, if you're en route to Indianapolis and they terminate your contract, hell, turn around right then and head on back to Oklahoma. You know, why finish the load out? That'd be their problem. They chose to terminate the contract. So I tell them, kick rocks. This one right here, this one is complete and utter slap in the face. Notwithstanding anything to the contrary herein, lease operator, damn it. Lease operator agrees and understands that it is personally responsible to contractor for breakage or loss of merchandise or equipment, cargo shortage or damage, or any other damage it causes to contractor's property of its affiliates, or the property of a third party, and that any amounts found due and owing contractor or its affiliates may, as set forth herein, be withheld from any payment owed by contractor to lease operator. I don't know how the hell that works, because on the one hand, you're paying every single week for liability insurance, you're paying for cargo insurance, you're paying for personal property damage, etc., etc., etc. And then on the other hand, they're saying you're going to be personally responsible for any cargo damage or, you know, anything like that. So if that's the case, why in the hell are you paying for insurance? He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and still eat it. It doesn't work that way. There's no way under the shining sun that any judge would enforce Section 9 of this contract. It can't be done. You can't say, well, I'm requiring you to pay for this insurance, but we're not going to file an insurance claim. You're going to be personally responsible. Bullshit. You know, that's just not how it works. But they count on the fact that you don't know. They count on the fact that you would not fight them on it. And I don't know about any of you, but me personally, I tend to get my back up about things like this. Number 10, all equipment and machinery used by a lease operator to provide services pursuant to contract shall at all times be maintained and operated by a lease operator in a safe manner, and be kept in such condition at all times to meet safety rules and regulations and all other maintenance and operational rules and regulations. Lease operator shall be responsible for determining the details and means of transportation of the equipment, means and operations, of the equipment. Lease operator agrees to indemnify, defend, and hold contractor harmless from any and all liabilities which contractor may incur as a result of any acts or failures to act or negligence on the part of the lease operator. Again, that's why he's got insurance. You're paying for his insurance. Why in the hell would you be holding him harmless? Yeah, I can't see in my mind how that would ever hold up. They're saying that the laws of the state of Oklahoma, without regard to its conflict of laws provisions, shall govern the interpretation. So they're saying that the laws of the state of Oklahoma is what they're going to use to enforce this contract, regardless of any conflict of laws provisions that may be in the law or may be in this contract. It don't work like that. They can rightfully say the laws of the state of Oklahoma shall be used to interpret and defend this contract, something to that effect. But they can't say that we're going to use the laws of the state of Oklahoma without regard to its conflict of laws provisions. Yeah, that won't fly. And item number 12, lease operator agrees to be responsible for all attorney's fees and costs incurred by contractor as a consequence of lease operator's non-performance or a violation of any of the provisions of this contract, including without limitation those fees and costs incurred in connection with legal action taken to compel performance or recover damages from the lease operator. Yeah, good luck with that too. You know, again, he's trying to use your wallet to protect him. So that's it for the first 4 pages of what they're calling their lease operator contract, but most carriers would call it the carrier agreement. This is where you're leasing your truck onto Hurricane Express to run under their authority, use their permits, etc., etc. Now we're getting into the schedules, and you know, like Schedule 1 is going to cover their detention policy, their layover, mileage rate schedule. That's a damn joke. I'll give you a preview of their mileage rate schedule. One of the things that tickles me is that on this Schedule 1, they actually have a provision in here for class action saying that you're going to waive any right you may have to assert any claim against them or their representatives in a class action lawsuit. No. You know, and they're on most of these pages. You have to initial you have to initial the page and the purpose of that is that to validate that you read it. That's what the whole point of having you initial these pages is for, is to indicate that you read that page. Oddly enough, Schedule 1 has no such. There's 4 items in Schedule 1, and it has no place for you to initial the page. And this gentleman did not initial this page. Schedule 2 does have a place for you to initial. But that mileage rate schedule, that's confusing to most people. It shows your national fuel average, your rate per loaded mile, dry loads, rate per loaded mile, reefer loads. And we'll get into all of this in the next video, but all together between the lease agreement and the carrier agreement and all the schedules and addendums and attachments and everything, this thing's about 21 pages. And I remember having a Hurricane Express recruiter trying to talk me into going and driving for them. Our contract's only 1 page. No, your contract's 21 pages, boss. But anyway, that's it for today. You guys take care, be safe. Do not sign a contract with Hurricane Express unless you read it and fully understand it. You guys take care, be safe, and I'll see you down the road. Bye.